Oh, correct. Wisdom, correct.
Hi guys, can you all hear me?
Yes.
Everybody? I can't hear anybody. Let's see. Hello. I may have all of you muted. Not sure. Hold on. Hello. Yes. Okay, you should be able to unmute yourself. Please try and see if you can unmute yourself because I have been known to.
Hi.
Okay, good. Okay, I see that.
Hi.
Awesome. Well, welcome to Canvas 2.0. I am Maria Hellard. I am department head for world languages, and this is my going to my third year here. Yeah. So welcome, and I hope you learned something. This is going to go a little bit fast because I'm supposed to cover a bunch of different items, including where you can create your own material, including let me just project my PowerPoint. That will be easier so you can see what we're going to cover today. But the good thing is it's being recorded, so you can always watch it again and and slow me down because we'll stop for questions and everything, but in order for me to cover everything, I have to go at a certain speed. So a few things they wanted me to cover are discussions, assignments, quizzes, and then I'll take questions at the end. Within learning how to create your own discussions, we're going to learn how to do things that you can then apply to the other assessment or assignment. So whatever you learn in discussions, the method for uploading videos or audio, or it's going to be the same. It's going to be the same for, when you do it in assignments or quizzes. I'm just going to do it all in that one. So we're going to learn how to create discussions. We're going to learn how to create assignments, and then we're going to learn how to create quizzes. But within quizzes, there are probably 7 or 8 different modes for quizzes. So obviously we're not going to cover all of that. We're going to touch on it, okay? And at least I'll show you how to get started with quizzes. Does anybody have any questions before we start? Okay, I just want to know, if you all just tell me what subject you teach, just so I know. I know Rocio Spanish.
I teach
Sarah,
Spanish as well. Sorry. I teach Spanish as well.
Sarah, 7th and 8th grade math in Texas. Okay, how about Miss Downing? What's your first name, Miss Downing? It just says Miss Downing.
It's Peggy, and I did it because
math. Okay.
the kids were always.
All right. Good. All right.
My name.
And Deborah. Oh, Deborah, you're Spanish.
Yes, I'm Spanish.
Right? Okay.
Yes. And I teach from Brazil.
Math, Rocio, Spanish. Ana Luisa, Spanish, and Naomi is you do Spanish and you do a lot of subbing, but you're also.
I'm technically English and German.
Because I might get it wrong.
Technically English and German. I don't actually have any German classes right now, though.
Hold on, I might have my speaker off. Oh. Okay, now I can hear you. Say it again.
I teach English and German, although I don't technically have any German classes right now.
Right, because we don't have that many. And then Chris Land has joined us too. Chris is operations manager, so he's not teaching anything, I guess.
No, I'm not.
You're welcome to it.
Don't think that would be good for the kids.
All right, so let's get started with discussions, which is the first topic that we're going to cover. All right, so give me 1 second. I'm going to stop sharing for 1 second so I can bring it up. Okay, I'm going to share my screen with you now. And normally I would do it on PowerPoint, but I like to show you how I'm doing it like right on Canvas, so that when you go to rewatch this, you can actually see, you know, you can actually see what it looks like when you actually click on certain things, not just in pictures. Okay, so can everybody see my screen right now?
Yes.
Okay. I think we just lost it again. All right, so okay, ignore where it says Stacy Brown. Ignore that. That's just because it's a random course that I'm using as a test course, because I don't have any of my own courses. So it's just like a test course that I'm using. All right, so we're at the home page right now. And to do a discussion, all you're going to do is go to the left, and you're going to click on discussions. That's pretty much how you do everything. You're just going to find that word or the assessment you want to do, click there. And then you're going to just click on plus discussion. So you add another discussion. And what you're going to do here is you're going to enter a title, and just to make it, because I already have this prepped a little bit, so I'm going to do a discussion on Day of the Dead, since we just did that with our kids in Spanish. So, okay, or Dia de los Muertos. All right, now I'm going to show you, I always do tables when I create discussions, because it makes it easier to lay out the actual, like the logistical part of it, where you can see the pictures or the is I create a table, and I may have like 4 tables like that, and I'll show you what I mean by that. So whatever I do, I insert it in a table. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to insert a video, because I want the kids to watch a video first in order to have a foundation for the discussion. Okay, so the video that I want them to watch is on YouTube. So go to my YouTube, and this is just a little short film. It doesn't have any words. So what I want them to do is I want them to watch it and kind of like give me their take on it. What is this video teaching you? What is the video talking about in the end after you watch it? So generally discussions, okay, so generally discussions are kind of not opinion, I mean, they're based on facts, but it's so that we create this dialogue with different opinions based on facts, right? So you either have kids watch a video or you have them read something. It's something that they get to analyze. All right, so what I want to do is I want to embed this video into my, my discussion. So you're going to click on share, and then it gives you a bunch of choices here. So just click on embed. And then you're going to copy it. So highlight the whole thing, right click and copy. And then you go to new discussion. And then I put it in my table here. Oh, sorry, I did that wrong. Ignore that. I did it completely wrong. You're going to go here to insert media. Woo! And you're going to click on embed. And then you're going to paste it. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. I don't know why I did that. Okay, so now there, and you can make it smaller, right? Sorry, that was too loud. Let me pause it. Okay, so now you've embedded your video in there, so it'll be in there, okay? And then you can also, you can make it smaller by pulling in the, let's see, it might not work. Okay, so you can do all kinds of things to make it better. Now, I would go under here, and now here I would include the questions, or the instructions. So you can say, watch the video, then answer the following questions. Now, I'm just giving you an example of how I do it. Certainly, you have the freedom to do it however you see fit for your subject area. So I'm going to say 1. What do you think the video is about? Okay. And then I'm going to make it easy just so we can move on. And then I always tell the kids, and you should also do, why is the table needed? Oh, the table is needed because let's just say I want to add more things. Like I want to put a picture over here. You'll see. I'll show you in just a second, okay? Hold on. Okay, you don't need to have a table. You don't need to have a table. You can do this without the table. But for me, I feel more organized when I can control where things are. Because sometimes when you insert a picture and text, sometimes you can't control where the text goes, where the text ends up, okay? So, all right, what do you think the video is about? And then I always say respond to at least 2 of your classmates, okay? You could obviously you can add more things. Are you in training? Yes. Oh, okay. Sorry. I'm sorry. I guess I wasn't paying attention to who was in the waiting room. All right. So there you go. There are your questions. Now let's just say that picture here. I want to put a picture in there. A couple things you need to know before you do this. If you're going to steal from the internet, if you're going to take pictures from the internet, make sure that the license is the kind of license that where you can, like royalty free. So I have something pulled up already here, Day of the Dead. Okay, and if you go to tools right here, it's pretty easy to do this. All you do to find out if you can reuse it without, having to go, without violating copyright laws, just click there and click where it says labeled for reuse to make sure that it only pulls up those pictures. All right, I'm sure there's websites you can go to. If you all know of any websites that you can go to, you can certainly do that. So there's a couple things you can do. First thing, I think it's easiest to just, if I find a picture, I just right click on the picture and I copy image address. Not copy image, but copy image address. If you copy the image and go back and paste it, it'll look like it works, but then when you actually assign it to the kids, for some reason, Canvas, it doesn't read it, and then it comes up as a blank image. So you want to copy image address like that, go to your new discussion, go back to the new discussion, all right, click in I want it to be right next to the video for whatever reason. And then you're going to click on here where it says embed image. All right, and then you're just going to insert your URL there that you just copied from the picture site. Hold on 1 second. And then you're just going to click update. And it should work. Yes, it should, but my computer's going really slow, so. Uh-oh, people are in the waiting room. Admit. Well, it didn't happen before when I was doing this, so I apologize. And by the way, I didn't put any of the dimensions in it. It did it all on its own. All I did was copy and paste the URL. Okay. So see how little it is? But then you can make it bigger if you want. But I probably have to make the table bigger. See? And you all, you can figure out how to, do we have an interpreter? I'm not sure if we have an interpreter. Or we may not. We had an interpreter for the other one, but I'm not sure. Okay, so then you can resize it however you want, okay? Or if you don't even want this, you can take, You can take that out, and you can just have that. And again, you don't need the table. I just did the table to show you that if you want it to lay out in a certain fashion. All right, so now you've learned how to embed a video. You've learned how to copy a URL and insert a picture. But what if you have pictures of your own? If you have pictures of your own, like that you've saved on your computer, then what you have to do is you have to upload the picture. So once you upload it, I'll just show you, I'll upload it. I'll show you how I upload a new image. I did click on in this box because that's where I want it to go. I'm going to choose my file. And I clicked Day of the Dead picture that I already had saved on my computer. Okay, I'm going to name it, otherwise it won't work. All right. And then you're going to click upload. And then it should upload it to the section where you had clicked. Yeah. All right. So there's just a couple of ways. You can also do audio. You can record audio on here, or you can upload your own audio if you saved audio to your computer. You can do all that. I don't have time to get into all of that because we're going to run out of time. So, but you can do all that. I'm happy to help you moving forward if you need that. Okay. So now you've got your questions, all right? And you're going to post it to all your sections. Allow threaded replies. Users must post before seeing replies. I like to click on that because that forces the kids to make their own posting before they go in and see what everybody else posted. All right, this is graded. Allow liking. You can do that too, I guess. It's up to you. Okay. All right, and then you just save it and you publish it. And there it is. And there's your discussion. Oh, I forgot to put the point value, but you have to put the point value. All right. So don't forget to put the point value when you do this. All right. Any questions on discussions on how do we do on creating discussions? Okay. The next one that we're going to do, did anybody say anything? I didn't hear. Very good. Okay. The next one that we're going to do is going to be assignments. So again, from your home page, so you're going to go to your home page. I'm going to click these. I'm going to turn these off. Otherwise, okay. So from your home page, all you have to do is click assignments, like you normally would. Plus assignment. And then you're going to name it Day of the Dead Reading. Okay. Reading assignment. Okay, so I'm going to say, read the following about Day of the Dead and answer the questions. Okay, so here I'm going to post something about Day of the Dead. Like, you can just write something, or you can link it to, if there's a page about Day of the Dead, you can find something and link it to it. So let's just find something really quick. So you can link it, like even Wikipedia. You do Wikipedia. So if you want to link it to something that you want them to read, of course, Wikipedia is not the most scholarly place to find information, but for the sake of example, I'm using Wikipedia. Okay, so Day of the dead reading. All right, so you can highlight this, and then you can go, and then you can copy and paste it. And so the kids have a direct link to it, okay? They can have a direct link to it. All right, so you can, and then we're gonna say, read the following about Day of the Dead and answer the following question. Okay. What are 5 words associated with Day of the Dead, and what do they mean? Okay. 2. What is Day of the Dead? And you can just continue on, you know, with whatever you want to ask, okay? Then you're going to give point value, however you want to give that. It just depends. I could give, like, let's say 10 points for each one. You could also include a rubric if you want to. Let's just say 20 points. Then you're going to pick your assignment group. Now, depending on which subject you teach, then you're going to choose the appropriate one depending on which subject you teach, right? So if you teach something other than world languages, you're probably not going to have these categories like interpretive and presentation and all that. So just, you know, pick the category where you want it to go. Okay, now how do we want the submissions to be allowed? Many times I check all of them because it kind of like saves you time for having to reset it for kids that want to upload an assignment the other way. But most kids are just going to upload text entry anyway, right? Okay. And then don't forget to save it and publish it. Now you can do all kinds of things, assignments. There's many more things that you can do with assignments. I'm just showing you the basics so I can cover everything that we need to cover, okay? And then, you know, and then if you want more instruction on it, you can go to Canvas 3.0, or you can just reach out to me and I can help you find resources on how to do certain things. All right, so there you go. Any questions on assignments? Assignments? No? Okay. The next one that we're going to talk about is quizzes. Feel free to type in the chat too, guys. All right, so you're going to click on quizzes. It's also on the left-hand side. Okay. And if you, while we're waiting on this, just to let you know, if you wanted to embed video or pictures, you would do it exactly like we did before on the discussion. It would be the same way, okay? So when we make quizzes, there are various ways that you can create a quiz, okay? So as soon as it loads, and this is going to be pretty much the same thing. You're just going to, you know, add the quiz plus quiz. Okay, so you're just going to go here. You're going to click plus quiz. And then you're going to name your quiz. All right. Let that load. So we're going to call this Day of the Dead quiz. All right. All right, and here you can say, based on you have learned on Day of the Dead, answer the following questions and matching. Okay, and I wrote and matching because I want to show you that the cool thing about, as John said, the type of quiz questions I had trouble with is the drop downs. I tried to follow the directions on them, but it didn't work right for me. Oh, and I would like to know how to do spacers too if we have time. Okay, yeah, the spacers, I think you're talking about like multiple fill in the blanks. Is that what you're talking about when you say spacers?
No, there was actually a couple of the science quizzes. Science is the only course that I had some pre-made quizzes on.
Okay.
I had never seen them before, but like there was a couple of questions, and then it said spacer, and it had basically like text and pictures and stuff for the kid to review before it asked the next couple of questions. So it was like, here's the information, here's a couple of questions on it, here's more information, here's a couple of questions on it. And it just said spacers on the right-hand side instead of question 1, question 2, and I didn't know how they did that.
I'm not sure about that. I have to look at it. I'm not exactly sure, but I will definitely ask about that unless somebody knows what she's talking about. I've not come across that, but certainly we can find an answer.
That's okay. I'll be doing 3.0 this week, and maybe it'll be
yeah, maybe that'll be in there, and maybe it's just I just don't understand how you're explaining it to me, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
All right, so when you click on questions here, Miss Downey, what is your first name?
Oh, sorry, you didn't have your when I was
Audio, yeah.
Your speaker wasn't on. It's Peggy. I did it because the kids at the beginning of the year kept calling me by my first name, and I'm like, no.
No, that's fine. I just wanted to make sure because I always remember people by their first name. Yeah, I'm happy to help. If I can't help you today, I will definitely do it. All right. So when you let me go back to where I was so I can explain. Okay, so here I was on this first page. You're going to click on questions, and this is where you're going to add the material that you need. There's several things you can do. Okay. If you know how to use the question bank, which I'm not going to go into today because it's a whole other, it's not really that hard, but it's just a whole other lesson. Basically, the question bank is anytime any quiz or test is created, it goes into this bank. It's much easier, but it goes into a bank where then later you can pull from. You can pull from 5 different quizzes and make one quiz or make a test. So that's what that means. When it says new question group, that means it's going to go into the bank and choose questions from the question bank. So we're just going to do new question because when you click new question, this is all original. This is stuff you're gonna bring in. All right. So the first thing you have to decide is, well, what kind of quiz do I want these kids to have? If you want the kids to have multiple choice, then just leave it. It always defaults to multiple choice. Okay. You can have a true false. You can have fill in the blank. You can have fill in multiple blanks. You can just have an essay question. You can have a file upload, all kinds. I'll be honest with you, I have not used all of them because I taught Spanish and I didn't need to use all of them. The ones that I mostly used were multiple choice. I love matching because matching, you can literally do one matching and make it one quiz because you can have like I could have a vocabulary quiz on Day of the Dead vocabulary, right? And so I could just make that one quiz that's a matching quiz. So that's, that's one way to go. Let's start with, tell me all, what would you use the most in your discipline? Kind of just tell me in the chat so I can go from there. Or you can just say it out loud. Essay and multiple choice, okay. Okay, let's start with essay because essay is probably the easiest one, all right? Then keep writing in there if you, I'm not sure I'm new. Okay, no worries. Essay is basically the easiest one, but it's the hardest one to grade because it's not self-graded. So if you have a lot of students and you want to do these quizzes where they're self-graded, which some of them are very, very good, it's fine. You can do those. if you do an essay question, obviously you're going to have to come back and grade it. It's not a self-graded assignment. All right, so what you're going to do is you're going to write your question in here, right? So let's just say, always number your question. So this is question 1. And by default, it shows you that. It just says question, and you have to add 1 or 2 or whatever. I know, they grade themselves, exactly. Those are my favorite as well. And then here you can just give it however many points you think it's worth. Okay, so what does Day of the Dead mean? Okay, that's my question. Now let me tell you something. In this quiz, you can have 10 of these, 10 questions like this, right? If you don't update question, if you don't click on this little word right here, update question, and you just save it, which is kind of like what we always default to, you will lose all your work. And it's happened to me. So when you are in the quiz setting, make sure that after every single question, no matter if it's a multiple choice, true, false, whatever, as soon as you're done, update the question. All right? And now you have your first question. If it looks like that, it's ready to go. If you don't do that and you just click save, you're going to lose everything. Okay? All right. So let's go to the next one. New question. So let's do multiple choice. I'm gonna do the same question just for the sake of time. All right. All right. So we're gonna make this one a multiple choice. What does Day of the Dead mean? We'll make this 10 points too. Doesn't matter. And this is question 2.
The beauty runs on The beauty runs on 2,304 window power function.
You're talking to me?
4,032 laser detector gears. In 2016,
Maybe not.
I don't think so.
Okay, I'm just gonna mute. Okay. All right. So what does the Day of the Dead mean? Okay. So here's your multiple choice. Let's have 3 possible answers, okay? So the correct answer is going to be, it's a celebration of our loved ones who have passed. Okay. It's a day when dead people dance around you. I'm just making this up. Day of the Dead is a place in North Carolina. Okay, so there are the possible answers, and then you're just going to update your question. And that one is ready to go. What does Day of the Dead mean? And right now you can't see it, what it looks like, but we'll preview it so you can actually see what it looks like when the kids look at it. Obviously, it doesn't look like this. All right. And let's do one more new question. How many of you all use Quizlet? Do you all use Quizlet? So I'm going to show you all something, and this is, okay, good. So, and if you don't, Quizlet is free. It's a great way to get information for a quiz that you want to create. So I'm just going to show you how to steal from Quizlet. Not really, it's not stealing, it's just borrowing. It's called Not Reinventing the Wheel, okay? So teachers contribute to Quizlet, so it's not stealing. Just want to make that clear. All right, so when you go to Quizlet, if you don't have an account with Quizlet, you can just do it with your Google account. So I think I'm logged in already. Your sets. All right. So let's just say you want to do a quiz is good too. Yeah, they have good quizzes. You can always embed Quizlets into your assignments. But that's not what I'm showing you. I'm just showing you how to get material so you don't have to keep looking it up. All right, so this is my account, but I want to do a quiz. I want to do quiz. Oh, I got you with the 2 Z's. You got, okay, got it. All right, so what I want to do is a vocabulary quiz on Day of the Dead. I want to check their vocabulary on Day of the Dead. Of the Dead vocabulary. All right, you just do a search for it, and you're going to get all this, you're going to get all this information. Oh, these are all different quizzes, okay? All right, now this is what I do. And I'm doing Day of the Dead, but like you could do a math. Like when I did the last Canvas 2.0, we did math terms. I forgot what it was because I don't teach math, but we did a math term. You can also sort them by free because some do make you pay. Well, we won't use those. We just use the free ones. So what you do is you click on, let's do 11 terms because that's easier. When you click on that, on whatever one you choose, the default of Quizlet always looks like this. It always comes up with flashcards first. Now this is all you're going to do. You're borrowing information. This is what we're doing to create our own quiz. If you click on the 3 dots right here, one of the options it's going to give you is export. So click export. And then what it's going to do is, I always do it like, it's going to give you all the text, all the vocab there. So we're going to copy the text. Oh, I guess I could click copy there. Now this is what I do, all right? So we're going to do a matching. Matching. This is my favorite one because you can do an entire quiz on with one. All right. And then I use this space just to copy and paste my information that I just stole from Quizlet, borrowed from Quizlet. All right, there it is. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to, watch this, watch how I do this. So I'm going to take that and then and I just copy and paste them here. I'm all about saving time. And then I think I did too much. So I'm just gathering information, okay, from the vocabulary that I just got. Now I copied these 3, and then I just put it here like this. All right, now, obviously I can do a bunch more. Do you love it, Lynn, or do you think I'm a thief? I contribute to Quizlet too, so I don't think I'm a thief. Okay, now, match the vocab. Match the Day of the Dead vocabulary. All right. So that just saves you time because you don't have to keep looking up words. And I mean, they're words, they're generic words. Marigolds are not words that are, that are licensed that you can't ever use. So you can use that word. Okay. So don't forget to update the question, because if you don't, you're not going to have your question is not going to show up. Okay. Oops. I did forget though. What did I forget to do? Somebody tell me, just to see what you've learned. There's 2 things I forgot to do on that one.
Give the grade.
Oh, the number of points, and what else?
Correct answers.
Yeah, I forgot to number it. That's it. Did somebody say that? Maybe somebody already said it. All right. So what you're going to do, you can always edit. Just click on the little pencil there. And you're going to go question. This is question 3. And then normally for matching, I just give it the amount of points that I have. So here, I think I have 3, right? 3 matching. Obviously, I'm going to have more than that. But so maybe you can give them 2 points each. So 6 points. Okay. Now, because I went back and edited that question, I need to update it again. Otherwise, it's not going to show my edits. All right. Now, we're going to save it. I don't publish it right away because you want to preview your quiz. Always preview your quiz. Otherwise, sometimes it just doesn't look the way you had it in mind. Okay, you can also catch errors before. If you scramble the questions, do the question numbers change? I'm pretty sure they do. But that could be, that is a good point, because that could be the reason, Lynn, that they don't include question numbers because of that. I've never scrambled the questions. I've only scrambled answers. So that is something to look into. If somebody knows the answer, please tell me. Okay, you can always preview your quiz. So, and then we're going to see what the kids look. What do the kids see when they look at this quiz? Okay, so this is what the kids are going to see. What does Day of the Dead mean? So they have a little text box there. They have a little text box there where they can write their answer. Question 2, what does Day of the Dead mean? So we're going to click on the right answer, right? And then this is the matching. The matching is cool because it's just pull down. See? So ofrenda, it's a small memorial, marigolds, sugar skulls. Okay? And then I didn't answer here. Okay. So then you submit it, then test it out, make sure it works. Now, what I wanted you to see here, 16 out of 26, because not because I'm bad at this, is because this one has to be graded. So what I wanted to show you is that within one quiz, you can actually have multiple types of quizzes. So you can have a matching, you can have an essay, you can have multiple choice, you can have true and false, all in one. And so that makes the, you know, when you're making a test especially, you want to have a variety of those, especially to differentiate between learners. I think that's helpful. Also, let's just say you're doing a short quiz and you just want to test them really quick on their vocabulary. You can just do a matching. You can do one question like I did. You can have like 20 of these and make it one quiz, and that works too. Okay? All right. Any questions? We're just moving right along. Please, please, please tell me what you have as far as questions.
I don't know if you have time to do show the drop downs, because that's the one that I have trouble with.
The drop downs. Okay. So we're going to go to quizzes. Oh, yeah. Anything to save time, right? That's what I say too. Anything that makes our lives a little bit easier, I think is worth knowing. So we're going to try the drop down. So this is something that you've encountered or what? Peggy.
Good memory. So it's one that I tried. I've seen it in other quizzes.
Okay.
But when I tried to do it, when I followed the directions that are on the top of the quiz or on the quiz question when you choose it, when the kids went to do the answer, they only saw one. Basically, they saw the correct answer as the only drop-down option. Nothing else showed up.
That's awesome.
They got some bonus points there.
They love that one, right? Okay, well, let's try it. Now, I have not done one. I've done them before, but I've never given one as a quiz to my students. So I've done it just for training purposes. So it could be because Irene said she's having trouble too. Irene, are you having the same kind of trouble where the kids only see the right answer?
I just have trouble following the instructions that they give you to create the quiz.
They are kind of tricky, like brackets and stuff.
Yeah, I think I finally figured it out, but it did take a long time. It's not intuitive.
Yeah.
So you have this one, it's going to be drop down. It's going to be, oh, is this multiple answers? Is this the one, or is it?
Yeah, that's it. It's kind of like with matching. You have multiple answers and they're supposed to all like mix up.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, all right. So this is what I do. I remember this. So I just copy what they have there. All right, here's why you want to copy it. You want to copy it because a lot of times it's all about the spacing. When it's like, whenever you're like, this is almost like, it's not as difficult as being a programmer, but you know how everything means something. So if you have a space there, it may not work. If you don't have a bracket, it's not going to work because that's how it's coded, I guess, behind the scenes, right? Okay, so this is what you're going to do. Roses are, let's just do this one, all right? So the first answer is going to be what? Roses are red. I just want to see what they see, okay? Roses are red, violets are
Blue. Purple.
wait, hold on. Well, that's the first, oh, you have to update it? Oh, no, and then you have to go here.
Huh?
Let's just see.
I don't even think I got that little drop down right there. So, okay.
So you learned, oh, maybe that's why it didn't show up.
Yeah, and I must have had a space somewhere. I tried to be really careful and do it exactly what it said, but it must have been something that I just was a little off with. And
Don't give me too much credit. Again, I'm all about copying the template because then you avoid a lot of these errors. Okay, so here it is. So roses are, now you should have two options. If you don't, I don't, you see? Hold on. Yeah, it's only showing the right answers, just like you said, Peggy. So that could be, unless somebody else has.
She said.
Go back to it. Okay.
Okay, I got it. So if you go back to editing this,
Okay, I'm going back to edit. Okay. I remember doing this, and I don't remember that happening. I don't know what.
yeah, if you don't do it like a lot, it's just it's impossible to remember.
Okay, so we're going to questions,
Mhm.
and then we're going to edit here. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so when it comes open, okay, and then yeah, scroll down to where you've got your choices.
Okay.
Yeah, see color one needs more than one answer, and the other answer will be incorrect. So possible answer, put in blue or put in blue or whatever, put in purple. Keep correct answer red.
Okay.
Keep the correct answer red, and then go down to possible answer
Oh.
and put in something else. So that's I wouldn't put, but don't put, put in another color. And then,
And do another one, right?
And then go to color 2. And you can put in as many as you want.
Okay. Oh,
And
we
then-
learned something. Thank you, Irene.
Yeah.
Okay.
My pleasure. Glad to help.
And then we're gonna do. Then we have to do color 2.
You
right?
have to do color 2 in the same way, right?
Color 2. So the right answer is blue. We're gonna have 3 choices.
Mhm.
It's either gonna be red or it's gonna be purple. Okay, so that's it. We only have 2 spaces.
Right. And then if you just update that, and if we check it, it should be good.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense because otherwise it only has 1 choice for each bracket.
Right.
Okay, so don't forget to save it, and then let's see.
It makes sense. I guess I had it in mind because when you do like a fill in the blank and you do other possible answers, those are other correct answers. So I did not think that putting wrong answer options, that makes sense.
Yeah, it does make sense, but in a way I kind of thought it would pull from the other ones, right? But no,
Right,
there
so
you
that's
go.
why I was saying it's really not intuitive.
Yeah, it's not. And then it's also, what I'm concerned too, is like it's also showing the correct answer first. So I wonder if there's a way that you can scramble it. I'm sure there is.
Well, I think that depending on which one you type in, like, it just comes up in the same order that you typed it in.
Oh, that's right, because it gives you the option
Right.
of choosing the correct answer. Let's just go back one more time to that so I can show you that, because that's important too. I like this one. Now, I remember when I was writing Spanish, I used this quite a bit for vocabulary, like in contextualizing vocabulary. So I would come up with like a paragraph and the kids would have to fill in the blank, and that's what I used. So I did do it enough where I should remember, but I just haven't done it in so long. Okay, so let me just show you how to make it so that the first answer is not always the correct answer, because kids are very smart. They'll figure that out real quick. All right, so we're going to edit. So we have the red. So we have the correct answer as red here, okay? So if we want to make this one the correct answer, then we click the arrow. Or if we want to make this one.
Mariana wrote about if you just scramble it, it'll switch them.
Oh, it will?
Yes.
Okay. Awesome.
Yes, it does for me.
Okay, that's awesome. But either way, there's two ways. So let's just make sure it works. Okay.
So where's the scramble option?
I'll show you that in just a minute.
Great.
Okay, so all right, so let's just see if it worked. There. All right, and we're going to preview it. And so let's see. So I didn't scramble the second one. Oh yeah, there, it scrambled it. So that's good. So that's one way to do it. Now, what? Oh, no problem. All right, so if you want to scramble it at the end, so you don't have to do that, this is where you do it, Chris, because you just asked that question. So you're going to go here. This is the page you go to when the assignment's already made. You know, when you go to assign a date. This is where you go, right? So you go here. Now, you can do shuffle answers. See right here, Chris.
Yep.
You can do shuffle answers or
Okay.
not. You can do allow multiple attempts. All right. You have to be really careful with this one. It says, let students see their quiz responses. Incorrect questions will be marked in student feedback. Only once after each attempt. If you let them see the answers after the attempt and you give them multiple attempts, trust me, they're going to take the quiz, they're going to fail it, they're going to copy and paste all the answers. So be careful with that.
So Chris, are you basically trying to prove them wrong that you cannot shuffle questions?
No, I'm not a teacher. I'm not in Canvas much. I'm trying to see where you do it.
I've never seen it, so I thought maybe you were like making a point. So
No? Oh, you've never seen that option?
no, I saw the shuffle answers, but I've never seen shuffle questions or scramble questions.
Well, let's see what it does.
Yeah,
I mean, we only
I
have
could
two
be
questions.
totally crazy about shuffling questions. I'm sorry. I just don't know.
I only like it on like unit tests because I've had, like, I have one really good student and on either side of her are two students who don't do anything. And on one day, all three got 100. And I can see, so I knew she wasn't cheating. She wasn't helping them, but they were like glancing over it and following along on her quiz.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So it did shuffle this, see? Because that was the last one before.
Oh no, we were talking about like, you know how you numbered the questions?
Yeah.
I thought that's what we were talking about, scrambling questions.
No, because for this one, we only have one question. We just did another quiz. That's all we did. Okay. So what was the other thing I was going to tell you all? No. Oh. Be careful also when you use the scramble option, because if you have a school, like I had a school last year where with Meichen's blessing, she said I could do assignments with them. I would literally do assignments with them because if I didn't, they didn't do anything. They submitted nothing at all. So what I would do is during the last 15 minutes of class, I would actually pull up an assignment on my screen and I would do it with them. And I would say, okay, if we do this together, everybody gets 100 because you're going to have the right answers, right? I don't give them time to work on their own. We do it together. Now, the problem with that is if you scramble answers, when you're doing it together, it's going to be, they're going to see something different. That is my only, that's the only like warning that I have for.
And I make sure not to, like, I really only do the shuffle answers on unit tests when I am not helping them. But I've noticed that now that I've learned this year about the moderator ability, I make them all get in there. I've been doing the last 15 minutes of class or even 20 minutes if it's more than like 10 questions. But I've been having them do it on their own. And that was when that happened with that girl. So, but being able to see that they're all in the quiz and working on it, I will sit there and keep calling their names until they get logged in.
Yeah, that's good though. That's okay,
A baby, after the first couple months of school, they gotta get their work done.
Right, exactly. Like I said, I didn't do it with all my classes, but some schools just require a little bit more attention, and that was one of them. Okay, so we only have 5 minutes left, so I just want to stop sharing and see if you have questions for me.
This was all a huge help. I appreciate it very much.
Oh, you're welcome, Peggy. I'm glad I learned your first name too.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, let me piggyback off that. This has been a very valuable session. Well done, Maria. And
Thank
good
you,
job, everybody else, with the engagement and asking questions. It's been really valuable.
Yeah, this is always a nice time to meet with our colleagues because we do learn a lot from each other. I definitely learned something new today. Thank you, Irene.
Thank you, Irene.
No problem.
Thank you very much, Maria.
Yeah, you log off if you want. If not, if you have questions, I'm right here. I'm not going to log off until everybody is everybody has answered. I've answered everybody's questions, I should say.
Well, I think my brain is fried. I started at 7 a.m. and just did 3 trainings in a row, so my brain's done.
I'm glad you came. Bye.
Thank y'all.
Bye, Chris.
Bye.
Anybody else? Question? No? Everybody's logging off? You're welcome. Adios.
Adios, buenas noches.
Buenas noches. Oh, yeah, we've not done the newsletter yet, have we? I'm getting there. Lynn, it's on my to-do list, I promise.
Yeah, I wrote
I don't know how to leave.
Oh, once I X out, you can just stay. Once I X out, it'll shut you down too.
She's probably like, but I want to go to bed.
I'm stuck. All right, guys, I'll see y'all. Bye-bye.